Christianity is about community, which has on its divine side the amazing gift of peace with God. And on its human side, the triumphant solution of the problem of living together. Some of us are loud, some of us are quiet. But we all gotta live together. So let's look at this wardrobe. The first thing he says is compassionate hearts. Put on. This is the wardrobe that God has picked out for you. Not the one you picked out for yourself. The one that he picked out for you. A compassionate heart is a heart of pity. Barclay writes that if there was one thing the ancient world needed was mercy. In the ancient world, the suffering of animals was nothing to them. The maimed and the sickly went to the world. They didn't care about the sick. If a woman gave birth to a child who had some problems, guess what they did? They left the child. That was the ancient world. There was no provision for the aged. You're old, we don't need you. The treatment of the simple-minded was very unfeeling. What did Christianity do? Christianity brought mercy to the world. That's what Christianity did. Where is it today? Because that's our history. And we talk about, if we want to know where we're going, we're going to look at our history. Understand what Christianity did. Christianity brought compassionate hearts. See, the wardrobe that God has us wear has to do with what's going on the inside is demonstrated on the outside. Okay? So the first thing he says is, when you have a compassionate heart on the inside, kindness is going to come out of you. Amen? The Greek word for kindness is defined as the virtue of the man whose neighbor's good is as dear to him as his own. I shared with you. People were crying as if they'd lost their own brother. As if they were feeling my pain. What is that? Kindness. It's a fruit that is born from a heart of compassion. Josephus used it as a description of Isaac, the man who dug wells and gave them to others because he would not fight about them. He just gave them. He didn't assert his rights. I dug this. No, he just gave it to them. It is used of wine which has grown mellow with age and lost its harshness. It is the word when Jesus said, my yoke is easy. It's the same word. Goodness by itself can be stern. But this goodness is the goodness which is kind. That type of goodness which Jesus used to the sinning woman who anointed his feet. No doubt Simon the Pharisee was a good man, right? But Jesus was more than good. He had a compassionate heart. See, goodness without compassion is harsh. So the man looks and says, does Jesus really know who's touching his feet? He's a good man, but he doesn't have a compassionate heart. So we've got to let God circumcise our heart. Pastor, we have a lot of people in church who have goodness without compassion. So they're the ones that are ready to crucify a sister when she gets pregnant. They're the ones that are ready to say, stone her. So the book says, throw the book at her. I told this story about my big sister in Orlando. When she used to beat her kids, she'd read that verse in the Bible. That's foolishness is bound up. My nephews know that verse. That's what some of us do. Seriously, before they got whooped, every time. She would make them read the verse, and so they understand why she's whooping them. But now, guess what? My nephews are in church, serving God in their mother's house. So there is goodness without compassion. That's the goodness that when we do wrong, we're ready to judge you, we're ready to condemn you. But the heart that has been circumcised by Christ has compassion and produces goodness. Amen? The Christian is marked by a goodness which is kind. Amen? What's the next outfit on our wardrobe? Humility. Amen? That's the condition of the heart. It is said that humility was a virtue created by Christianity. The classic Greek word for humility has a sense of an excessive willingness to serve or please others. So, they weren't trying to do that because everybody feels that they're somebody. So Christianity brought what? Humility. An excessive willingness to serve or please others. What can I do for you? How can I serve you? Is the temperature okay? Is the food okay? Bishop taught me one very powerful thing the other day. I had cooked for them. And I cook in a certain way. And certain dishes, I like to use certain parts of the chicken. So the particular dish I made for him, I needed to use thighs and drumsticks. I didn't ask which part Bishop likes. I cooked the dish the way I like to cook it, and it tastes better with thighs and drumsticks. So I present the dish to him, and he doesn't eat it. He kind of touches it and doesn't eat it. You know why? Because Bishop doesn't like dark meat. So Bishop says to me, weeks later, sweetie, when you cook for others and you want them to enjoy what you're cooking, my son doesn't like hot food and I like to cook spicy food. Well, I like to cook, but I've had to learn to ease the hand on the spice so he can eat. What is that? Excessive willingness to serve or please others. I like it cool, a little cooler than it is right now. But you have allergies. If we turn the temperature a little lower than this, it's going to irritate your allergies. So I'm going to ask the usher for a fan. I'm not going to sit and huff and puff and look at Pastor like, don't you feel it's hot? Am I the only person who feels it's hot in here? Willingness it's not just willingness, it's an excessive. So much so that when people don't understand, they may look at you and think you're stupid. You're weak. But it's your heart. I know I may seem weak and stupid to you, but Jesus captured my heart. Jesus captured my heart. I live on this side of the cross. Our humility is based on two things, okay? The divine side, based on the awareness of the creatureliness of humanity. So in the presence of the Creator, what position does the Creator take? It's not hard, is it? It's not rocket science, is it, Pastor? When you really think about who God is. Huh? When you really think about how vast this world is, look at everyone in this room alone. And the Word of God says, He has numbered the hairs on your head. Huh? He knows what each and every person is thinking right now. And that's the God that we serve under. Is humility hard? I find it difficult to preach in this church because Pastor, when he speaks, I'm under the... Why is it so hard?